Hey, what's going on, Central? It's Chris. This is going to be our Wednesday video. Guys, we just want you to know that we miss you guys and can't wait to see you guys. Hey, so the weekly challenges again are due by March 31st. It's going to be Hosea 10, 11, and 12. I want to give a shout out to Matt and Damiana for that awesome video you sent me. I was laughing. Good job on that, guys. Hey, so next week is going to be the 1st of April. Now, we don't know if there's still going to be no church of the quarantine area. With the virus going on, if they're going to cancel all churches. So if there isn't any church, we're not allowed to have it. We are going to do live for you guys. I don't know what we're going to be on, probably Facebook and YouTube, but we will give out text messages and alerts before that. Hey, this Sunday, pay attention for the group chat. Dustin has another lesson coming out. He did a fantastic job last Sunday. Cannot wait to see this Sunday coming up. But hey guys, we have a special guest here all the way from a quarantine zone. I'm super excited to introduce this person. Nick, please come here.
What's up, dude? How's it going?
What up, dude? How was quarantine?
Oh man, you know, it was pretty quiet. I was in a cardboard box by myself. They kind of had to Lysol me down, and they gave me a bunch of things, a couple shots and different things to test it. They have to put like a Q-tip up my nose to make sure I didn't have corona.
It was up your nose.
Yeah, it was up my nose. So yeah, so that's what they had to do. I don't have corona, and okay. So I'm good. So I'm out of quarantine, but I'm still under surveillance. So that's a thing. But that's okay. It'd be like that sometimes.
So were you bored during quarantine hours?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple things going on for me. I mean, I don't know. I kind of read some books or not. I don't know. I looked at a couple maps. So yeah, no, I kept myself busy.
Yeah, man, I got tested too. They put a laser thing to my neck and my head, and then a bunch of fog spray on me. It was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
But I passed right off the bat, so I'm good on that one, man. I'm
crazy.
sorry you had to go in quarantine, man.
No, it's okay, man. Like it'd be like that sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, you know, you just gotta be careful out there.
Man, I'm glad you're back though, dude. You look good, man. Look like you're like we're going hunting later.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, it's because I'm under surveillance, so I'm trying to hide from.
Blend in.
Yeah.
Man, you know, I didn't see you at first when you were standing in here.
Yeah. I was trying not to be seen.
Nah, so. I like it, man. Well, hey, man, it's good to have you back.
Good to see you, dude.
Good to see you too, man.
Good to be.
Elbows. Forgot. Yeah. What's going on, guys? Hey, we're gonna continue our lesson in the book of Philippians. I wish this was in person and not over a video, because I know that videos can be kind of boring and they kind of lose just the genuineness of what we're trying to come across. But with all this going on, I'm not gonna not try to teach you guys. So we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna make this short tonight because, man, I don't want to go too long because I know videos get kind of boring. So we're gonna be in Philippians 1 verses 12 through 18. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It says, "But I want you to know, brethren, that the things which happened to me have actually turned out for the furtherance of the gospel, so that it has become evident to the whole palace guard and to all the rest that my chains are in Christ. And most of the brethren in the Lord, having become confident by my chains, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Some indeed preach Christ even from envy and strife, and some also from goodwill. The former preach Christ from selfish ambition, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my chains, but the latter out of love, knowing that I am appointed for the defense of the gospel. What then? Only that in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and in this I rejoice, yes, and will rejoice." So I want to look at 4 different viewpoints tonight. And this is not the normal take someone does on this passage of Scripture. But tonight we're going to look at the palace guard. We're going to look at the church who supported Paul and the church who opposed Paul. Then we're going to look at Paul's point of view. Now, to kind of give a little context to this, Paul's in prison, and this church split right down the middle because half the church decided to support Paul. The other half wanted to oppose Paul. Why? It's got to be sinful nature. It's the only way I can think about it. But we're going to jump right in. The palace guard. First, who are they? They're an elite military force charged with protecting the Roman emperor and his concerns. These guys are like the Navy SEALs. Most kingdoms back in the day, their highest trained, the baddest of the baddest fighting soldiers were their personal guards. They didn't want some average dude guarding their home. They wanted the best. And so that's who these guys are. And I got a picture of the only palace guard I can think of. These guys are in England. dude, they don't smile at you. They don't do nothing. You can walk up. You can make fun of them. You can tell the funniest joke. They're going to keep a straight face. Now, if you touch them, that's shame on you because they're going to beat you up. But the reality of it is these guys are crazy. And that's who was guarding Paul. They knew why Paul was in prison. He was in prison for preaching Christ. The Romans weren't having it. That's why they're there. And they thought they knew why Paul was in their charge. See, in their minds, this is a job. We're here to guard this guy because our emperor told us to. God had other plans, and we're going to see that in a second. But in their mind, they were just doing their duty to the emperor. They're just protecting this dude who the emperor told them to protect while he's sitting in prison. Because most times when you go to prison, they don't put the top dogs around you. They put just the prison guard. But Paul got the best of the best, and we're going to see why in a second. Next, we're going to look at the church who supported Paul. Well, first, they're praying for Paul. You can't support someone if you're not going to pray for them. That's just the way life works. If you can't truly sit there and say, oh, I support you, bro, then you're not going to pray for them. You're not going to try to help them out. You can wish well for them. That's one thing. But when you fully support someone, you're usually praying for them. They used his imprisonment to push the gospel further. This inspired by Paul's actions. They were like, dude, he's in prison. We need to move forward with preaching the gospel. We can't just sit there and do nothing. Our boy is sitting in jail right now. We need to be that bold. It was an inspiration to them. Now we're going to look at the church side who opposed Paul. They were unhappy Paul's in prison. They were like, dude, this is not the way it's going to work for us. We want to keep him in prison, but we don't want him doing the gospel. So what do? They started sharing the gospel with the wrong attitudes. And those attitudes were envy and strife. They wanted to cause Paul more troubles while he's in prison. They wanted to ruin his day. Why? Because they're sinful people. But they just wanted to ruin his day and hope that while he's in prison, he can just get bad news after bad news after bad news. Now, how about you guys? But man, when I'm going through a rough day, and then you got that one person who just comes up and pushes your buttons knowing you're having a bad day, the reaction that I have is not a good one. And I can't imagine having a good reaction in those moments as much as I hope that I would have one in those moments. But we're going to look at Paul, and we're going to see his example. So this is Paul's joy towards the palace guard. He shared the gospel with all of them, knowing that this might be their only chance to ever hear truth. Guys, he didn't waste time. He's sitting in prison. He knows he has the elite force protecting him, that they're guarding him, that they're watching him. He's not going to waste that time. He's sharing the gospel with them. And even though being in prison might have sucked, that's his joy. Look, man, I got to share the gospel with these guys. They're probably never going to hear it again. But he made sure that they didn't leave their shifts watching him without hearing it. Man, how awesome is that? He's taking something that seemed so horribly wrong and turning it into something so amazing. Now we're going to look at towards the supporting side. They're preaching Jesus' gospel out of love. How awesome for that as Paul is. He helped start this church. He helped grow their faith. He helped start their faith. And now he's watching the side that's supporting him go out and be bold in their faith. Man, I don't know if you guys always like to disciple somebody, but I do. I've discipled a few people, and I've been discipled by a few people. When you see someone that you've discipled, and they're pushing forward in their faith, and they're overcoming some of the craziest things out there, man, it's so I'm so proud of it. It's such a humbling and yet proudful moment in their lives. Like, dude, Paul had to be so happy in that moment. And he says it in the text. He's like, man, I'm so happy that they are bold in their faith. And now we're going to look at the opposing side. And before I show this, actually, imagine trying to find the silver lining in someone who's trying to do you harm. That's extremely tough. And yet Paul shows us this right here. Regardless of the reasons, Paul trusted in God's sovereignty because Christ was being preached. See, Paul knew he could have been upset. But Paul's focus was the fact that A, the palace guards are hearing the gospel, B, the side that's supporting him, they're being more bold in their faith, they're preaching the gospel, and C, even though these guys are doing it for the wrong reasons, they're still preaching the gospel. And he was fine with that. He trusted that God had everything controlled. He wasn't going to let that bother him. Why? Because his focus was the palace guards in those moments. And yet here he is happy that the people are trying to do him harm and cause more troubles for him, that they're actually preaching the gospel at the end of the day. And what a great lesson we can learn from that. So I got two questions tonight. How can we apply this to our own lives? How can we apply Paul being in prison with all this stuff going on? Well, first, in a troubled time, we need to find our own joy. Now, in today's culture, we got the coronavirus going on. You got tons of the world is in quarantine, and yes, people are dying, and countries are shutting down, and everyone's going nuts for toilet paper, and it's becoming this hassle. But where's your joy in this? Well, my joy is I'm still working personally. I don't have to. My job hasn't closed down because there's only 2 of us. But I know friends who aren't working. And you know what? They're finding joy because they get to spend more time with their kids or they get to spend more time with their parents. We have to find the joy in that silver lining. Second, we need to be thankful for that joy. Paul wasn't just like, oh, sweet, I found the guards, I can teach them the gospel, I can share with them, and then he closed down for the rest of the night. No, he was thanking God for that. God, thank you that I got the opportunity to preach the gospel to these guys who are probably never going to hear it. We need to be thankful for the joy that we find in troubled situations. And then the last question, this is a more personal one. Are you the supporting church or are you the opposing church? Are you doing your best to show Christ or are you doing your best to show you? See, these guys were preaching the gospel, but they were doing it from their own selfish motivations that they wanted the light focus on them. Meanwhile, the other church looked at Paul's example and said, dude, we need to go out and we need to be the light of Christ in this world. Well, dude, today in this corona craziness, some of you are at home right now with family who isn't saved. You're seeing friends who aren't saved. And you know they're not saved. And instead of sitting home upset that you're not at school with your other friends, or you can't go out in your new car and drive around, or, hey, I'm just going to sit by myself and work on my Fortnite skills or my World of Warcraft skills, or I'm going to binge watch my favorite show and worry about yourself and what you can do for you, why aren't you sharing the gospel with your parents? Why aren't you sharing the gospel with your friends and family? And so in the time of crisis that we're in right now, and everyone's freaking out over toilet paper and only God knows what else, man, you could take this opportunity and you could be the supporting church and not be the opposing church in your own eyes. And guys, that's all I want to share with you today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for clicking on the link. Guys, again, I hope that we get to see you next Wednesday. If we don't, we are going to do our best to make it a live series for you guys to be entertained, for you guys to learn God's truth. Guys, we just want to love on you. Thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a great week.
Hey man, what's up?
Good, man. How are you? What can I do for you today?
Good. Let me get a Red Bull,
Okay.
Gatorade, 2 ring pops, a zebra cake, honey bun, and did I say Airhead already? You know what? It's sour Skittles.
Sour Skittles, all right.
Yeah.
Gatorade, a honey bun, and what else? 2 zebra cakes?
2 ring pops and a zebra cake.
Zebra cake.
You don't forget the zebra cake. So.
I guess the zebra cake?
Yeah.
All right, that's going to be... You know what, man? Actually, we're not even taking money.
You're not?
No, I'm sorry, dude.
Dang.
You got anything else you can trade? I mean, you know how crazy times are.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's
There's
fine.
shortages everywhere.
All right, well, let's see. I got 409.
All right.
Is that okay?
A bottle. Keep going. What else you got, man?
That's not it?
Nah, bro. That's not gonna. This is food, bro.
Bring the bank here, dude. All right. I got a can of Lysol.
It's like a half a can of Lysol. You gotta,
seriously?
You gotta go more, bro. Yeah, this is a full can.
That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Pledge. Lemon pledge.
There's like nothing in this.
Dude,
it's like one good scrub, bro.
Man, Publix doesn't have this stuff
Yeah,
anymore.
I know it don't, but it's an empty bottle pretty much. I got one good scrub in here. Come on, what else you got? Listen, you want the stuff or not, dude?
All right. I was saving this for a rainy day, but...
that better be 2-ply.
It's 1-ply. It's all or nothing. You know what? This, and then throw in another sour Skittles. Because this, you can't find this even at Costco.
You can't find it anywhere. How about this? I'll throw in 2 more sour Skittles. You throw that hand sanitizer in there, too.
Got yourself a deal.
All right, man. There we go. There. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. Take it.